Om Shuklam Bharadram Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Yasyatma Bhutasya Guru Prasadat Aham Vimuktosmi Sharira Bandhat Sarvopadeshtu Purushottamasya Tasyangre Padma Pranatosmi Nityam Prahlada Narada Parasara Pundarika Vyasamrisha Sukha Saunaka Bhishma Dhalbhyan Rukmanga Udava Vibhishna Palgunadin Punyanimam Parama Bhagavatam Namami Janmadi Asya Yato Anvayat Idara Tarchas Abhijna Swarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Gavaye Mukhyanti Ahas Suraya Tejo Vari Mritam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisa Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasa Koham Satyam Param Dhimahi Dharma Prochita Kaitavo Atra Paramo Nirmat Saranam Satham Vedhyam Vastavam Atra Vastu Sivadham Tapatrayo Nulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krit Kimva Parai Ishwaraha Sadyo Hridi Avarudyate Atra Kritibihi Sushrusabihi Takshanat Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Palam Sukam Amrutam Dhruva Samyuktam Vivada Bhagavatam Rasamalaya Muraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavaka Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Vasudheve Bhavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam Shunvatam Swakataha Krishnaha Punya Shavana Kirtanaha Hridayantastohi Abhadrani Vidunoti Suhrit Satham Nastrapayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Vasudeva Paraveda Vasudeva Paramakaha Vasudeva Para Yoga Vasudeva Para Kriyaha Vasudeva Para Jnanam Vasudeva Param Tapaha Vasudeva Paro Dharma Vasudeva Para Gatihi Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukka Shamanastam Namami Harim Param Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namaste, Hare Krishna. In the Varaha Purana, there is one very important sloka called Charma Sloka. In Bhagavad Gita, there's a Charma Sloka. Does anyone know what the Charma Sloka in Bhagavad Gita is? An important sloka, always quoted. Sarvadharmana parityaja mamekam saranam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayasyami ma suchaha. That is a sloka which is called Charma, or the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. In the 18th chapter, 66 sloka. Likewise, in Ramayana also there's an important sloka. Sakrit eva prapannaya tava asmi iti yachate abhayam sarva bhutebhyo tadami etat vritam mama. This is an important sloka in Ramayana. So the first sloka, Sarvadharman sloka, where Krishna says, do not fear, just surrender unto me. That's what he says in short in that particular sloka. And in this sloka, where Rama says, You just have to surrender once to me, and I'll assure you to give my shelter. One time surrender is enough. So here is also the surrender aspect has been mentioned. Whereas a question might arise. The question is that from reading Bhagavad Gita and from the last session, couple of sessions that we've been seeing, that one has to remember God at the time of death. And when we remember God, then we attain God. If we remember anything else, then we attain that what we remembered, meaning in that consciousness, whatever the consciousness we die, that's what we attain in the next life. We saw this in detail in the previous two classes. Now the question might come, what in case if I have to leave the body in a way where I can't remember anything, right? A person has lived a wonderful life. He's been thinking about God, remembering God, doing service to God. But unfortunately, as Bhagavad Gita demands, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam vajatiyante kalevanam. At the time of death, whatever you remember, that's what you attain. And what in case when I'm dying, my memory is lost? I can't remember anything. It happens, right? People go into a coma state, or people can die in an unexpected way. Not that everyone is going to pass through, peacefully. It could be many things could happen. The way that one passes life, that leave the body and go. So what will happen to those people where they can't remember anything at the time of death, completely blanked out? Nothing is there. So what to do at the situation? And therefore, there's a beautiful saying in the Varaha Purana, where Lord Varahadev tells this, that Sthite Manasi Sushvate Sharire Satiyo Naraha Dhatu Syami Sthite Smarta Vishwarupam Cha Mamajam Tatastam Mriyamanam Tu Kasta Pashana Sannibham Aham Smarami Mat Bhaktam Nayami Paramam Gati. So he says that he knows, Krishna knows, these two questions will come. Therefore, in Varaha Purana, he says this particular sloka called Charma Sloka, where he says that at the time of death, if you are lying down like a log of wood, no consciousness, no memory, no senses, nothing is working, you're like a vegetable, dead vegetable. You don't need to remember me. That's what the statement says. You don't need to remember me. Instead, aham smarami, I will remember you. So this is a very, very beautiful sloka where we can really appreciate how much God is so merciful that he remembers us, whereas we can't remember him. He remembers us. The condition applies. Of course, there's a condition always applies. Condition is we should have remembered him when we were healthy, when we had proper memory, when our senses were working properly, when we were able to hear properly about Krishna Katha. We should have heard this one, not to hear about other things. When our eyes were able to see properly the beautiful form of Krishna, whereas leaving Krishna, if our eyes were looking some material beauties, then it's a different case. Likewise, each and every senses should have engaged in service of Krishna. Then, at the time of death, even if I'm not able to remember Krishna, aham smarami mad bhaktam nayami paramam gatim. He remembers us and he gives us the ultimate destination. that is, shelter at his lotus feet. So in this way, we have to understand that our life has to be designed or programmed in such a way that preparing for our final examination, which is the death that's coming up, doesn't matter however the death comes up, so we can prepare now and leave the result or leave the end examination in hands of Krishna. Krishna will take care of it. We don't need to worry about it at all. What's going to happen to me if I can't remember God? Not at all. So we have to think about these beautiful slokas, have complete faith in these slokas. These are promises made by God, Krishna. And these promises are not like our promises where we make promise and tomorrow morning we forget the promise or we pretend to be forgotten the promise. But when Krishna makes promises, is written or guaranteed is going to happen. In the last session, where we left was Jada Bharata was taking care of the field, and at that point of time, a gang came, a dacoits came, and their leader, who was going to do a bali, a sacrifice, an animal sacrifice to get a son. He was looking for some animal, and he sent his servants to look and bring someone or some animal so they can do a bali. Bali means a sacrifice. Offer the blood of the animal to Mother Kali. So these men, these dacoits, were in search of something, and they happened to come to the field. As they came to the field, all they saw there was Jada Bharata. Jada Bharata was right there, and then they thought this is a man animal. So they caught hold of him. It's because his behavior, the way he was, is like almost like, considered to be like an animal according to them. That's how he was living his life, uh, pretending himself in that way. So they caught him. They took him to the place, and after they took him there, then they bathed him very nicely, and then applied nice scented oils, applied sandalwood paste, gave him a brand new, dhoti, dresses to wear, and decorated with him with nice garlands. And also, not only that, they gave him a fantastic feast, nice feast, opulent feast to eat. So he took everything and he ate. Also, Jada Bharat ate everything. And then they took him to the spot where there was a huge, big Kali Murti was there, deity was there. And they placed him right in front of the Kali deity. And they all started playing their drums and other instruments and bugles and started, making all sort of sounds. These are all some, things that they do before they make an offering to Kali. Then the head priest came and he chanted the mantras, whatever the mantras he chanted, to get ready. And he took the sword, a very sharp, very heavy, sharp sword in his hand. It was, even to look at the sword, it was very fearful. The rest of them were feared just seeing at the sword. But the person was ready and to chop off the head of Jada Bharata and offer the blood to Mother Kali. no reaction. From Jadabharata's side, there was no reaction. Meaning, when he was given wonderful items, garlands, nice dress, scents, sandalwood paste, nice feast, he didn't really care about it. He just accepted whatever was coming. He didn't say the salt is very less in the sabji. Would have been nice if 2 more spoons of sugar has been added into this gulab jamun. He didn't say any of these things. Whatever has been given, he just took it. Whether you want to apply sandalwood paste or you don't want to apply sandalwood on me, he doesn't care about it. Now they're going to cut him into piece. He didn't care about it. He did not even think about, he didn't even realize what's going on at that point of time. In Bhagavad Gita, we read this one, Sama Dukkha Sukha Swattaha. Sama Dukkha Sukha Tulya Nindatma Samstitaha. Tulya Nindatma. Nindatma Mana Apamanayo Tulyas. Whereas, whether a person, Mana Apamana, whether a person is glorified or whether a person is mistreated, accused, this person doesn't react to both, either of them. Today you put the person, give a garland to this person. Tomorrow you beat him with a chappal, right? Boots. Chappal means boots, sandals. He doesn't care about it. Today you treat him as a friend. Tomorrow you treat him as an enemy. He doesn't care about it. Today you give him a nice, wonderful feast, palatable food. Tomorrow you give him a rotten food, useless food. He doesn't care about it. He doesn't go and complain about these things. He just accepts it. So we can learn here in Jadabharat case where they were treating him very nicely. Now they're going to cut him off. But he didn't react to any of this situation. He was just neutral. He was not even thinking what's going on. So the priest got ready and he took the sword and ready to chop him right on his neck to cut him into piece. He was ready to do it. The sound was, going to the peak. The instruments was going to the peak. Everyone was excited that they're going to make an offering to Mother Kali and chop this boy, man animal. At that point of time, an interesting thing happened. The deity was standing there. Mother Kali couldn't tolerate this one. She couldn't tolerate this one. Her eyes were becoming reddened. Her teeth were shattering with anger. Her body was trembling. And she couldn't tolerate what was going to be happening soon. And she just bursted out of this place and came right on the spot. And she pulled the sword out of the hand, from the hand of the priest, the head priest, the chief priest, and chopped him off and started chopping every single person over there. All these people and started drinking their blood instead. Everything happened in a flash of time, in a moment. Everything was done. But our Jadabharata was nothing, as if nothing was happening around him. He didn't even realize, he didn't even know what was going around. Such a big thing has happened. Someone was going to chop him into pieces, and that has been stopped by Kali, and Kali came down. This whole thing happened, messed up the whole place, and then all these dacoits were, ran away, and some of them were chopped into pieces. But Jadabharata was Jada. We saw what Jada means. He was Jada, means he was completely oblivious to what was happening externally. Not at all. Not even a single sound went into his ears. And this is what real self-realized person means. This is what it means to be in meditative mood. When we start meditating, when we close our eyes, that's when we start remembering everything that we have forgotten to do. But here we can see such a serious thing that's going to happen to Jada Bharata, but he was just not at all reactive to the situation. And we can see another lesson when a great Vaishnava is being offended like this. Mother Kali could not bear it. She couldn't tolerate it. When a devotees are being offended, that should not be tolerated. So therefore, Mother Kali knows what was happening is not right. And she knows very well who Jada Bharata was. He's a great devotee of the Lord. Therefore, she came to punish this dacoits and save Jada Bharata. So another point to learn here is, question is, didn't Mother Kali know that we are not the body, we are spirit soul? How does it matter if the dacoits kill or not kill? They are not killing the Atma anyway. It's only the body. So it doesn't really matter. Let them chop, let them kill. She didn't do that, right? So it's an important message for us to understand also that we can, as a human, it is our duty to save others if it is needed. We have to help others. It's not that they are going through their karma, therefore I don't want to interfere in their karma, let them suffer. That's not what we have to do. If it is something within our capacity to help others, we have to help others. And that is dharma. That has to be continued. That has to be done. We can learn from this small episode how all-knowing Mother Kali, still she took responsibility to save Jada Bharata and correct the situation. All the things that were happening. Oh, someone is already feeling sleepy. I can go fast if needed. One of the feedback that we got was if I can slow down my pace. So that's why I'm going a little slow here. Otherwise, I can go on fast to keep you all awake. Please let me know if you're feeling sleepy so we can get into the fast track, right, also. What I was saying is Jada Bharata was totally oblivious of what was happening outside because he was fully absorbed inside. He was fully absorbed inside. Therefore, he did not feel anything what's happening outside. Whereas, on the other hand, in our case, we are so much absorbed outside. Therefore, we are not knowing what's happening inside. It's just totally two opposite personalities. One is aware of inside, not aware of outside. Another one is aware of outside, not aware of inside. And the second category is where most of us fall into. Because we are concerned about many of the things happening outside, we are missing out what is really needed to be focused. The self, the Atma, Paramatma. We are not focusing on those things at all. And we get so much disturbed when things happening outside us. Whereas Jada Bharata, such a situation, he was still happy. He was still happy because he did not see anything happening outside at all. That's the important message that we learn from this thing. After this, Jada Bharata left the place and he was just continuing his journey. He was just walking out. He didn't even think about where to go, what to go. He was just walking. As he was walking different places, didn't care about whether he's going to get a next meal or not. Nothing. He was just walking and going on. While he was walking and going on, now another incident happened. There was a king called Rahuhana. Rahuhana, a king who's being carried in a palanquin. Palanquin, if some of you doesn't know, it's where in those days the king will be placed into a small sort of I don't know how to explain this, a small cart where they will sit, he or she will sit, the queen will sit, and 4 or 5 or 6 people will carry those things on their shoulder and go to the next destination. That's called palanquin. That's how they used to carry those days. So King Rahugana was traveling to meet Kapila Muni, a guru, to get some advices on spiritual basis, some advices. While he was passing through the forest and a place, what happened was the people who were carrying this palanquin, they were looking for additional resources to carry this palanquin. So they were looking if anyone can come and give extra hands here. From a distance, they saw Jadabharata. Jadabharata was stout, strong. He was just having all fitness that one can think about. So they thought the chief of this people, he thought that, oh wow, we got a very good candidate here, resource here. So maybe he can help the palanquin, carry the palanquin, help in carrying the palanquin. So he called, come over here, and Jadabharata, he just came because he's been called, and told him to, take the weight on his shoulder. And Jadabharata just took it. He didn't even think about, do you know who I am? I was in a previous life. I was Bharata, King Bharata. So you want me to carry the palanquin? Such a low-level job? He didn't even think about these things. He was thinking, if I have to carry the palanquin, and if that is part of my prarabdha, the karma that I have to finish it, let me carry this happily. Right? So in our life, there could be some heavy things that we need to carry. We may not be interested to do those things. It could be a responsibility. It could be some services. It could be anything for that matter. Something which is heavy that we need to carry in our life. People try to escape from doing or taking up the responsibility because they feel, why should I even get into this one? If I start carrying, then it's going to be disturbing me. My regular routine will get spoiled. I might get mentally disturbed. So let me not take up additional responsibilities. I don't want to carry this heaviness in me. I already got enough of things to carry in my life. Whereas Jadabharata, he was thinking that, let me carry this. It coming by itself. I didn't ask for it, but the load is coming on me. So let me carry it because this is part of my prarabdha karma. Otherwise, why this should happen to me? That I am walking somewhere and then someone is calling me and putting a weight on me. Let me take it. So that a part of my prarabdha karma can be removed, drained. And that's a consciousness he was having. He accepted the service that's been given by this chief, the chief servant of the king, Rahugana. So he started carrying the palanquin. They were walking, and the journey was smooth and nice, but there was a problem. Often there was a jerk. The ride was not smooth after some point of time. The king was a little anxious. He was not able to have a proper ride. So you just asked, what's going on? Why you people are, not going properly? It's a lot of disturbance are there. Is everything okay? And then the servant said, Maharaj, everything is fine. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. And they went and they found out that Jadabharata was cause of this disturbance. What he was doing is, as he was walking, whenever there is an ant comes or some living entity passes through, he doesn't want to step on them. And therefore he started moving this way and that way and jumping above that, so that he doesn't want to kill these small insects. While he was trying to avoid killing the insects, this was happening. So the chief said, you better please be aware, you're carrying a king, not some jack or someone. So please be careful, walk carefully, don't worry about all the small things. But then it was the same case. It was continuing the same way. So this time king said, what's going on? Why are you people doing this? And out of fear, this time, the chief said that, my dear Lord, it is not us. We appointed a new person to carry the palanquin. He seemed to be doing this. He's not doing a good job. Therefore, it's happening. They just opened up. They told the truth. And the king said, oh, he just peeped out and saw the new person. That was Jadabharata. He said, oh, you seem to be maybe tired. You're very weak, maybe. You haven't had anything to eat. Maybe you're very old. You look very old. You're not very firm. You're not a strong person. You're not stout. Looks like you haven't eaten anything for days. You look thin. So whatever he was trying to say, it's all exactly the opposite of what Jadabharata was. Jadabharata was stout, strong, very, very strong. And he was young in his youth. He was not old. And he was not at all tired. But the king was sarcastically, he was just saying, you seem to be very tired. You're an old man. You're very weak. You're so thin. You're not strong. Maybe that's why you're not able to carry the palanquin properly. So please carry this well. So he told this one and closed his curtain and went back. He was relaxing in his palanquin. The journey continued, but the same thing happened. Jadabharata again started moving around, jumping around, and all sort of things was going on. And this time the king became very, very, very angry. He called rascal. He said, rascal, don't you know what I said? Are you deaf? Do you know who I am? I'm your master, you're my servant. I shall punish you like Yamaraj punishes the miscreants. Now, he was just quite heavy. He was saying, you're a useless animal. He just spoke heavily to Jadabharata. Now is the very first time that Jadabharata is going to open up, going to speak. It's quite very interesting instructions Jadabharata speaks. And these are my favorite sessions, this chapter and the other chapter that is coming up, the material forest fire, material life is a forest fire, because when I came into Krishna consciousness, the very first Bhagavatam class I attended, the lecture that I attended is this particular section, Jadabharata conversing with Rahugana. This is the first lecture ever I heard, official lecture I heard in my life, which I got very, very impressed, attracted, and then I continued hearing more on this. So Jadabharata started speaking. He said, what he says is, let me read here. It says, yeah, Toyodittam Vyaktam Aviprabdham Bartuhu Same Syad Yati Veera Bharaha Gantur Yati Syad Adigamyam Adva Pivati Raso Na Vidham Pravadaha. He said, my dear king, Whatever you have said sarcastically, but everything is true, certainly very true. You told that I am fat, I am thin, I have eaten, I have not eaten, and all sort of different things you said. It's all very true, because whatever you said, it's not me, it's all true to my body. The Atma is neither fat, the Atma is neither thin, the Atma is neither old, neither nor the Atma is young, because Atma doesn't have a age. Atma doesn't have a body which grows older or younger, degrades. Nothing happens, deteriorate, nothing happens to the Atma. The fatness, the thinness, bodily changes, hunger, thirst, fear, old age, sleep, anger, all that you can think about, it's all simply because of the body, the identification with the body. But the Atma, the spirit soul, is aloof, is separate from the body. And whatever you're told will affect a person who's attached to the body. If a person is not attached to the body, then whatever you told doesn't make any sense at all. So this is another lesson that we can learn. If someone says something to us, immediately we have to relate ourselves to this particular story, this message that Jada Bharata is giving us. If someone says something to us, are they telling to our Atma or are they telling to our body? Are they having in a proper, they are thinking, I'm speaking to Atma, I'm telling something bad, or are they telling to the body? We have to start analyzing this one. So we know the answer. The answer is that when anyone criticizes us, when anyone says something bad about us, whatever it may be, it's all related to they identify the body. They don't think that you are a useless person, Atma. You are a dog, Atma. No one is going to speak like this, because anyone speaks like this, then they have no understanding what Atma means. Atma is neither a dog, neither a human, nor a devata, none of those destination or designation it has. Therefore, when someone says something to us, we know we should stop for a minute, close our eyes, think that we are Atma. Whatever you are saying is to my body, forget it. And when we start thinking like this, we will experience something so sublime within ourselves, a peace in within us. We have to exercise. We have to experience and exercise this one. Someone says something, a big argument is happening, that person is saying something, just close our eyes. Meditate on Jada Bharat instruction. Whatever you're saying is all to my body. Atma is nowhere related to this one. Because the body is what is doing all this thing, not the Atma. I am aloof from Atma. Therefore, whatever you're saying, I'm not affected. When we start thinking like that and meditate like this, the person who is criticizing us will become tired. Is it not? Because you shut your mouth, you don't say anything, and the other person keep on speaking, and they will get tired at one point of time. And they may also start thinking this person is maybe doesn't have any sense. He's senseless. I'm criticizing, I'm blaspheming, I'm scolding him so much, but this person doesn't even react. Maybe he doesn't have any sense at all. And what is the use of me dealing with a senseless person? And they will simply go away. What a wonderful formula to get away from problems of such people. It's amazing. All we have to do is be quiet and meditate on ourselves, and that person will simply go away because they'll get tired. If we start responding to this person, guess what's going to happen? then it becomes very interesting. It becomes really very interesting. Then you start responding to that person, and that person start responding, and then the various arguments happens, and you start telling that person as a donkey, and that person start telling you are a monkey, right? This is what happens, childish mentality. And you did this one to me. When I came to your house, you did not respect. When you came to you did not give me that apple to me. All sort of questions comes. Just simply understand it's all related to the bodily thing. We are all Atma, therefore do not get affected. That's what Jada Bharata was saying. Today you are king. I am your servant. Tomorrow our positions might change. I might become a king. You might become my servant. Therefore, this position that you're talking to, you be the master and I'm being your servant, is temporary. There is only one permanent master. Everyone is servant, is servant. Today I am carrying your palanquin. Tomorrow you can carry me, making me sit. So everyone is forced to act due to the three modes of material nature: mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And my dear king, you call me as a rascal, a dull-headed, crazy fellow. You chastise me with all this thing. Let me tell you something. I live like a dull, deaf, dumb person. But in reality, I am internally meditating on myself. What is it you're going to gain by punishing me? There's nothing you're going to gain if you punish me. Therefore, you thinking, now let's take an example. You get angry with a madman and you want to punish the madman. What are we going to get out of punishing a madman? He's mad anyway. If he's mad, going and telling this person something or trying to punish that person, nothing is going to happen. He is going to continue to be a madman. Therefore, it's like beating a dead horse. If you're going to punish me, oh my dear king, then it's like a beating a dead horse. What are you going to get out of it? Because I am totally aloof from this body. Therefore, whatever you're going to do is to my body. I'm not going to be affected at all. When Jada Bharata spoke like this, the king got shaken out of fear. He just popped out the palanquin. He just jumped out of the palanquin and came down to his knees and caught hold of the feet of Jada Bharata tightly and then asked for forgiveness. He asked for forgiveness. He said, no ordinary person can speak like this. So therefore, you must be someone very special. You must be very special. You appear to be covered with all this dust. You appear to be like a madman. You appear to be like a dumb person and deaf person. But you are a saintly person. You must be a Brahmana. You must be a learned person. I see you must be so, because I can see the brightness in your face. So who are you? Who are you? Whose disciple are you? Where do you live? Why have you come to this place? What is your mission in coming here? Where are you going? Where are you heading? So these are a bunch of questions that King Rahugana was asking to Jada Bharata. And interestingly, that the response that he gets is quite applicable to all of us. The question that he asked was, who are you? What are you doing here? And where are you going? So if I ask this question to people, Who are you? Well, I am so and so. I'm Gopal. I am Lal. I'm Ashok. Whatever it is. What are you doing here? Well, I'm here listening to this boring stuff, what to do. I have to listen. Okay, where are you heading? Oh, I'm right after this. I'm just waiting for another 30 more minutes. Right after this, I'm going to have my lunch, have some party, friends. That's what I'm heading to. Well, we all will have different answers to this question. Who are you? What are you doing here? Where are you heading? But thinking little higher than this specific thing, think about these questions as a generic question, not a specific question, as a generic question. Who are you? What are you doing? Where are you heading? I'm sure some of you must have heard this several times just from me. So who wants to say an answer for this? Any new audience that we have here today or who recently joined? Sorry?
Abuji?
Yes?
I think Jada Bharat said that he is going to Lord.
He is going to the Lord. Okay. And what is he doing now?
Now,
Okay, that's fine. You answered one question. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else who can speak here? Hare Krishna. We still have people here, I think. Yes. Okay, who wants to say this answer?
I think Jadabharth said that he's going to finish his karma here.
That's Rohan.
Rohini.
Rohini. Okay, that's wonderful. Wonderful. So yeah, so if we think about, thank you so much. So the answer is quite simple. It is simple now. Because it is generic answer to everyone. Who are we? We are all Atmas. No one is going to say no to that answer. What are we doing? We are all here to finish our karma. Is everything okay? I'm seeing that people are dropping. Is anything problem with the Zoom? No, right?
Mama.
Is there a question? Someone was asking something.
Mama.
Yeah, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Mama.
Yes.
All this while Gita Bharata was meditating, then how did he suddenly talk?
Right. So he was meditating, not necessarily, that doesn't mean that he was not aware of certain things. Now he was walking in the forest, so he can still see things. Not that he was completely senseless. He was seeing things around. So he can, though he was meditating internally, he was also having access externally to external things because he has to do certain things to finish his karma. Okay, that's a good question though. Thank you. So coming back to the our discussion here. So we are all Atmas. Who are we? We are all Atma. What are we doing here? Like Rohini said, we are all here to finish our karma. Where are we heading? We are all heading to the same place, back to Krishna, back to God, moksha. So therefore, my dear king, this question doesn't make any sense to me. You are also the same what I am. You are also doing the same what I am doing. You are also heading to the same place where I am heading to. The only difference is You are sitting on the palanquin and finishing your karma. I am standing on the ground carrying the palanquin and finishing the karma. That's the only difference. There's no other difference here. When these things were heard by the king, he said that I was never afraid of anything. I won't even be afraid of the thunderbolt of Indra. I am not afraid of the trident of Lord Shiva. I am not afraid of the punishment of Yamaraja. I am not afraid of the fire god, wind god, the weapons of Kuvera. But I am afraid if I offend a devotee, a Brahmana. I am very much afraid about it. I feel that I have offended you. I made a big mistake by talking all this nonsense, insulting you. And you're not an ordinary person. So he was just repenting and feeling bad about it. When anything happens to the body, we think it happening to the Atma. So the question that now the king is asking is that I understand that we are not the body, we are Atma. But anything that happens to the body, it is obvious that we feel that it's happening to me. And that cannot be avoided. If I get a headache, is Atma, we are thinking, we can easily feel that we are having a headache now. At that point of time, how much ever you tell I'm Atma, I'm not his body, it doesn't work. So one who is fully convinced that this is a thing, very important thing. We are in a as they say, a cat on the wall, right? Neither this side or that side. That's a situation of the people who are practicing spirituality. One who is fully convinced that they are the body, they are the happiest people in the world. They don't think anything about Atma. They're completely convinced I am the body, and they live a very happy life. That's category 1. The category 2 is those who are completely convinced they are not the body, they are Atma. They are also they are fully happy, the happiest people. The second category of happiest people in the world. Of course, they are less in number, but still they are the happiest people. So we see two people, one category of people who convinced that they are the body, they are happy. The second people is they are convinced they are not the body, they are Atma, they are happy. And there's a third category also. The third category of people are the one are struggling to be happy. Guess who they are? They are the people neither there nor here.
Like us.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. It's like us. We are the one, I understand we are not the body. We are the spirit soul. At the same time, I don't know this is or that one. Pretty much not sure. We want to be happy. We are struggling here. We are struggling there. So therefore, what we come to a conclusion is that I wish, this is what we come to a conclusion. The conclusion is ignorance is bliss. I wish I was not attending Bhagavad Gita classes. I was not attending Bhagavatam classes, or I never came into contact of these things, right? I would have been much happier thinking I'm the body and don't need to worry about anything else, because that's much better, right? But we all know that's not the solution. That's not the solution. Ignorance is not bliss. It's more severe, it's painful, and it's not a long-term solution to be happy also. Therefore, the king is giving a beautiful example. He gives a beautiful example to understand genuinely from Jada Bharata. He says this, you take a pot, the pot, you put a rice and you put a water into it, and then you start boiling the rice. Right? We all have a rice cooker at home. And then what you do is you just put a cup of rice and then 2 cups of water and turn on the button, and the rice cooks. Now, the fire is not directly burning or touching the rice. We all know that. Whether you're using an electric one or whether you're using a gas or the fire, the fire does not, the heat does not touch, the fire does not touch the rice directly. It only touches the vessel. When it touches the vessel, is the rice get cooked or not? Answer is yes, the rice get cooked. But the heat was only given to the vessel. Therefore, King's giving an analogy to understand. I understand we are not the body, we are Atma. Like a rice in the vessel get affected because of the vessel get heated up, I am in this body. When something happens to the body, I also get affected. It is obvious. How can we change this program? Rice has to be cooked. There's no if or but to it. Likewise, when the body is getting affected, Atma has to suffer. That is his understanding. Does it make sense? Yes? Otherwise, I have to keep repeating this one. Okay, thank you. All right. So now this is a reason. It makes sense, right? So how can we understand what you're saying can be applied? When a student can ask this question, we should know how smart the gurus will be, right? They know they can answer more than what's been asked. Now, consider the same example. You said the example in a pot where rice is there and rice is not directly in contact with the fire, but the rice get cooked. Therefore, the impact of the vessel is impacting the rice. Impact of the body impact the Atma. So it cannot be avoided. Well, now, when you're cooking rice, there are chances the rice that in the vessel, there could be some small rice stones. Small rice stones the stones might be not rice stones. There could be small stones. Sometime it comes. We all have an imported rice here, and therefore we won't be aware of these things what we're talking. But in reality, there'll be stones in the rice. In those days, people used to remove the stones and then cook. But there are chances when you're cooking, there could be one or two stones there. Does these stones get cooked when the rice get cooked? Answer is no. How is that? When the rice can be cooked, why not the stone get cooked? It's in the same vessel. Because rice is soft, whereas stone is strong. If we are strong in our practices, if we are strong, understand about our Atma, understand about the knowledge of Paramatma, then doesn't matter when the body is affected, that Atma has to be affected also. We give by this example. But it requires practices. And the king was thinking, well, and the conversation continues. Jada Bharat said, my dear king, understand whatever you're trying to do in your life, all this religiosity that you're practicing, it is further going to entangle you into the material life. You're doing all the pujas and yagyas and everything. It's simply to strengthen further your root into the samsara. Understand the purpose of life is to think about Atma and Paramatma. Otherwise, you'll be here forever. Remember, all these things are happening because of one thing, one entity. And that entity is also within you. And that is the mind. The mind of the living entity is contaminated by the three modes, sattva, rajas, and tamas. And they try to be like an uncontrollable elephant which tries to pull you in all different directions. Sometimes make you feel happy, sometimes make you feel suffering. Sometimes make some people be your friends, sometimes the mind makes you feel someone are your enemies. So this is a mind business, is trying to pull you in all these different things. Dukkam, Sukham, Manam, Apamanam. All these different things is just a mind's program. So mind takes you to the ride. If you don't control your mind, then you will be lost. You will be suffering further into this one. And the mind has its own servants, Pancha Karma Indriya, Pancha Jnana Indriya, the five knowledge acquiring senses and 5 working senses. And the biggest of all this is thinking, I am this body, my society, my family, my nation. And this is all creating because of the false ego caused by the mind. So therefore understand, Kshetrajna means there are 2 types of Kshetrajna. One who have the awareness of Kshetra. Kshetra means the place. This is again the same message, what Jadabharat is saying, what's say in the Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter, where Arjuna is asked this question, Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetrajnam Evacha Jnanam Nyayam Cha Keshava Yetat Vidittum Ichchami Jnanam Nyayam Cha Keshava. And Krishna responds to that question saying, Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetram iti abhidhiyate yetatyo viditam prahuhu kshetrajna iti tat vidaha. So he said this kshetrajna is one who is knower of the field. It's called kshetrajna. There is Atma and there is Paramatma. These 2 things one should be aware of. So therefore you have to focus on yourself, Atma. And the easy way of doing all this thing is by taking the dust of the great devotees and applying on your body. That means serving the great souls, serving the devotees, serving the Vaishnavas will purify your existence. And that's the easiest way to do this one. That's the easiest way where you can control your mind. Otherwise, mind can become your friend or mind can become your enemy. Bandhur atmanatmanastasya enatma vai atmana jitaha. Right? We saw this also in Bhagavad Gita. Anatmanastu shatrutve varteyatmaiva shatruvat. Mind can become an enemy or mind can become a friend. If you don't have control of the mind, then it can play a game. So in this way, the instructions were continuing to Raghuguna. Jadabharat was continuing his instruction to Raghuguna. And Raghuguna was asking a lot of questions in the same line, clarifying his doubts. And then the chapter goes, there are more details to each and every slokas. And I would just recommend everyone to please personally read these chapters. Spend some time this week and read these chapters. Beautiful chapters. A lot of information, a lot of things that we can learn. Where in this chapter he compares the life as forest, where we are all in the forest. The forest is unpredictable. Forest is a place which is unpredictable. It has a lot of wild animals. And sometimes the forest will have nice gardens, beautiful trees, nice lake, and beautiful birds are singing, cuckoo birds and parrots and swans swimming. It'll be beautiful sceneries are there. At some part, it will be very dangerous. There could be snakes, there could be dangerous beast. So Atma is traveling into this dangerous forest. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's dangerous. And sometimes there are plunders. The thieves will come and takes away our things. And these things are some might feel that these are heavy, too much heavy message, but Bhagavatam speaks, the whole purpose is to give us a heavy dose. Therefore, Bhagavatam speaks, Jadabharat says to Rahuhana that the family members are like tigers, jackals, ferocious animals. They are like these animals. They plunder a man. Again, you can apply this to according to your gender. So the family members are like, the dangerous animals within the family. And they try to keep on pondering things, take things away from us. In the name of children, in the name of wife, in the name of husband, in the name of brothers, sisters, etc., etc. Dangerous people. I'm hoping some questions might come, but let's see. So on this dangerous forest, we try to build homes, settle down there by having wonderful place. The lake view house we build, or a mountain view house we build, ocean, all those different things in the forest. If we don't have money, then we try to beg people or take loan or steal people, whatever we try to do. But we want to have a wonderful life in this forest. And in this journey, we have our wives and children, we take them with us, and we all work so hard to make that money, to take care of our necessities, so that I can have a wonderful life in this forest, material life. And once a person gets attached to things, as they move on with these things, and they're not settled in that attachment in one place, then they start jumping like monkeys. And Jadabhara says this thing, we are like monkeys, jump from one branch to another branch. Because this branch I enjoyed here, while I'm enjoying here, I'm looking into another branch and try to jump to the other branch and try to enjoy over there. So we are like monkey-minded people, always wanting to look for, always jumping from one place to another place to enjoy life. This is what we do. Monkeys. And then afraid of the death, we run into the cave and then try to close ourselves when the death comes. Therefore, my dear king, understand your constitutional position. You are Atma, you are not this body. Give up the idea of the bodily mentality. Take shelter of the devotees, servants of the Lord, and serve them. Take instructions from them and develop that bhakti and get detached from this bodily ideas and get attached to the Supreme Lord. Jadabharat said this instruction to King Rahugana. Rahugana felt at the feet of Jadabharata, took all the instructions to his heart, was very grateful to Jadabharata, and Jadabharata departed, and Rahugana, keeping the instruction in his mind, he carried his life in that consciousness. And Jadabharata, as he was traveling various places, and he came to a place where he sat, fully meditated on Paramatma, and he left his body and returned back to the Supreme Lord, abode of the Lord, the spiritual world. He waited until his prarabdha karma was getting over, because prarabdha karma started, one cannot stop it. So he lived as much as he has to finish his prarabdha karma. It was over, and the time came, he left the body and ascended to the spiritual world. And that ends the story of Jadabharata, where we learned quite a bit of instructions here, where we can learn and apply in our life. We have a few minutes to open up for any discussions or questions. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this is Ashok here. I wanted to request all people on this call to fill up the survey form which we had sent out on the WhatsApp link and also the email. So that's a request. And then I have a question from you. You started the discussion this morning with Charna Slokas from Gita, Ramayana, and also the other Purana. Yeah. So you said that you have to surrender once. That's the Ramayana. So was Maharaj Bharat not surrendered once? Or it was because of his prarabdha karma, he had to take birth twice in a form of a deer and then in a form of Jada Bharat, or to instruct other people?
No, that's a very nice question. Bharat Maharaj was surrendered once, but then he was practicing not on the, when you surrender, there's a different levels of surrender also here. He was not surrendering the way that he's supposed to surrender through a acharya, through a guru. Therefore, he was depending on his own strength. Therefore, he has to complete his prarabdha karma so that surrender, what he did, come effective. And moreover, it's surrender not necessarily meaning that everything has been taken care. What level of surrender you make is also very important. One might be surrendering to tell, just remove my sin. One might be surrendering, give me saris. One might be surrendering to give me a kingdom. So these are all different levels of surrender. So the complete surrender is Atma Nivedanam, surrendering oneself, one's Atma. And that was not prominent over here in this case, in Bharat Maharaj case previously. But then that mistake was rectified in the next lifetime that he had.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I wanted to ask two questions. So the first one is like you said.
Speak up, please. Can you speak a little louder?
Oh, yeah, Prabhuji. Am I audible?
Yes.
So I wanted to ask two questions. So the first one is, at one point, you said that three gunas, that is sattva, rajas, and tamo gunas, bind our mind in material activities. I just wanted to clarify, like when we talk about these three gunas, do we only talk about in the context of material activities, or is there any concept like devotional service in rajoguna or devotional service in tamoguna? And if there is so, then how can we identify like devotional service in rajoguna and tamoguna, and is it okay to continue with devotional service in rajoguna and tamoguna, or how to situate one's devotional service in sattva-guna? So that is why sorry.
Okay. So you want to finish your questions and then answer, or you want me to address? If they're two different questions, then I can answer one by one.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the second one is different. So maybe this is my first question. Yeah.
Okay, the first question, the answer is every activities that we do is influenced by the three modes, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Now, the activities that one can do in sattva guna also is very important. Like for example, now Hanuman went to Lanka and he burned the Lanka. So was he in tamoguna and rajoguna doing this one, or was he in sattva guna?
It sounds like Rajaguna, but I think it is Sattva-guna because he did it for Lord Rama.
Exactly. So is sleeping rajoguna or tamoguna or sattva-guna?
Sleeping is Tamoguna.
Okay, sleeping is tamoguna, but the action, here's the answer. The action itself does not define what guna it is. The consciousness behind the action defines what guna it goes into. Now, if I'm sleeping tonight, and thinking I need to get up in the morning for Mangalarti, then is that sleep Sattva Guna or Tamo Guna?
I think Sattva Guna.
Yes.
Like if
Yes. Yes. If I'm fighting like Hanuman did, obviously that falls into Sattva Guna also. Okay. So this is where these things are called transcendental mode. It's beyond these gunas. So if this consciousness is not applied, then obviously the action is going to be pretty much Sattva Guna and Rajoguna and Tamo Guna respective action. Does it answer your question? Did I answer your question a little bit?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes. I just wanted to clarify that, like, I always heard that Sattaguna, Rajaguna, and Tamoguna, but I never understood that if devotional service can be categorized or can be fallen into these three gunas or not. But I think you
Yes.
have clarified it.
No. Let me be, because you brought up another point here. The bhakti can also classified into three gunas: Sattva Guna, Tamo Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamo Guna. If bhakti is done, unalloyed bhakti is done without any expectation, no internal agenda, then that is Sattva Guna Bhakti. If I'm doing bhakti for getting something in return, then that is Rajoguna Bhakti. If I'm doing bhakti to harm someone, that is also bhakti. For example, you take the example of Indrajit in Ramayana. Indrajit, where war was going on, and Indrajit, in between, he left the spot and went a place called Nikumba, and then he was performing a puja for a deity. That's a bhakti. Obviously, it has a bhakti. Obviously, it's a bhakti. But what type of bhakti is that? Sattva Guna Bhakti, or Rajoguna Bhakti, or Tamo Guna Bhakti? The whole purpose, he wants to get power from the God so that he can destroy someone else. That is Tamo Guna, low level of bhakti. So we have to be careful what bhakti, what category we fall into when we do this one. When we go to the temple, if you're praying others should suffer, then we know what type of bhakta we are. If we go to the temple and we pray, let me get some extra bonus this year, or promotion this year, or etc., then we know what bhakti we are doing. If you go to the temple and expecting, I only want service here, nothing else, I'm not expecting name, fame, prestige, all I want to do is just serve the temple, serve the people, serve the society, serve the devotees, then that we know what it falls into. Make sense, Priya Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you for the clarification.
Your second question?
The second question, just out of curiosity, I am asking. So, Jadabharata was on a very elevated plane, and he was a very elevated devotee. So he did not have any spiritual master in in that lifetime, I guess. So, uh, does all do all elevated devotees need spiritual master? Because Jadavadata, I think, did not have any spiritual master because he was on a very elevated state. So just.
Okay. So there are always exceptions in examples. So Jadabharata was an exception in this case. And also we should know the life of Jadabharata. He already repented when he was in a deer body, and therefore he was associating only with the devotees, the saintly people. So he was already got into that one. The instructions were going in it, and he was serving, and he was in the association. The satsang was there already. When he became another human in the third lifetime, now he doesn't want to promote or show himself that is an eligible person to receive anything, because he might get attached to the family, to his father, to his brother, his mother. If he's going to be outstanding in his studies and everything, they're going to put him into the best school, private school in St. Louis. And then, the best university, whatever universities are there. So he is going to get more involved into this thing. Therefore, he wants to be away from this reason, not getting into that attachment. For that reason, he acted in such a way like a dumb person. But otherwise, he also understands the value of a guru, but he doesn't want to get into a dangerous situation. Therefore, being in his position, what he's gone through in his life, he avoided those things. But that's not the example that we all should take. We are not Jada Bharata, so we should not take that example. But we have to apply what is commonly done. As an example, like Krishna took Guru, Shandipani Muni, Rama took Guru, Vasishta and Vishwamitra. Therefore, we should also follow that footsteps, those examples.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, any other questions, discussions?
So, Prabhuji, this is Sujana. I have one quick question, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Yes, Sujana.
When Bharata Maharaj took a second life, he may aware of everything, right? He don't want to get into any of these things, right? So why he didn't get the liberation at the second life itself? Why do he has to wait for the next life again? Prabhuji?
Well, one has to finish a prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma has to be finished, right? So again, going back to Ashok Prabhu's question, Takrideva prapannaya tava asmi iti che yachate. Rama said, anyone who surrender even one time to me, I will protect them, I will take care of them. Not necessarily mean that is the last lifetime for them. He didn't say that part in that.
Okay.
He gives us shelter and protection. That's it. Now he is under God's shelter. Ashok Prabhu, does it gives more clarity to your question?
Yes, Prabhu.
So the point here is, you surrender, and surrendered person not necessarily is going to get out. If he has a prarabdha karma to finish, he has to finish the prarabdha karma. In Bharat Maharaj case, he has to go through one more life to finish his prarabdha karma. That's why he took a second body. Another body as a Brahmana boy. So Janna, is that answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Yes.
But understand, there is also a solution to all this thing. Even if we surrender, if we have to go through many lifetimes to suffer, then what is the point then? There's no way that I can be relieved this lifetime. The answer is yes. That's when we really take shelter of a guru. By the grace of guru, when we do sharanagati, surrender, then this very lifetime can become our last lifetime.
Okay.
And the prarabdha karma, everything can be taken care in this very lifetime.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
We can continue with the same devotion where we left off.
And another point is, you can, if you have to take another birth, like Ravi Prabhu said, one will continue where he left. So there's no loss in this one, in this program. Okay, it's 12:10 now. If there is no other questions, as Ashok Prabhu said, kindly please, we have 150 people in our WhatsApp group. We received only 18 responses so far, the survey form. If you can please go ahead and submit your response, that will be very helpful for us to make this thing better. Ashok Prabhu, back to you.
Prabhu, nothing more to say. Thank you.
Oh, there's a question here. Someone has asked a question. Hold on. Can someone read the question for me?
Yeah, what did the dacoits want to achieve with the sacrifice to Kali? I think Greg's question.
Okay, so the reason that they want to do a sacrifice to Kali is praying for a son. That the leader of the dacoit, he wants a son. And as per their ritual, as per their belief and ritual, if they do this one, Mother Kali will be happy and she can give a son to this leader, the dacoit's leader. And that's why he wanted to do this puja, sacrifice puja. You're welcome. Okay, thank you all very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.